Let's get this set up. Hello, welcome everybody for Tuesday night Chameleon question and answer session where we're live here and you can hang out, ask questions, and whatever. We're talking about chameleons. Well, we're talking about a lot of things, and I'm here live on Instagram, and I'm also here live on YouTube here on the Chameleon Academy live YouTube channel. And if you're watching this replay, just know that you can be here live every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're here. We are both on Instagram and on YouTube, but I will tell you, if you have a chance, come over to the YouTube because that is where it's hopping. Chameleon Academy live. That's a different channel than Chameleon Academy. Big long story as to why I had to break them up, but look for the live channel. Ha! I was here just a little bit late, but not late enough to make a real difference. That's okay. Going through. Alicia's got a 20% battery. Uh-oh. Fleck from Northern Ireland. Hello. Nate from Ohio. And Alabama. Janet from Alabama. Hello. Danny Can Aquatics. You from Denmark? Are you Leander? What? Okay. Give me an idea on Danny Ken Aquatics. I need to know. I know who this is. I always try to figure out who's who from their screen name. Oh, we have a question here on Instagram. My Panther Chameleon, Felicia Nicole. My Panther Chameleon has lost his tongue due to a tragic accident in December. Do you have any advice for drinking? Currently, we are spraying directly into his mouth. Yeah, do that. Spraying into his mouth. You can have a dripper drip down, and he will go under it and take the drip directly. Your chameleon will figure it out. Chameleons are survivors, and there's been a number of chameleons that have lived long lives without tongues. In the wild, they're essentially dead. In captivity, we can adapt. And so I had a chameleon that couldn't use his tongue, and we had years and years. I would bring food up to his mouth. He would chomp it, and sometimes, get your fingers out of the way. And we would just do that every day for years. So there is absolutely no reason why losing a tongue has to be a death sentence. So just adapt. He will try different ways, and he'll figure out a way. Now, one thing is that a chameleon without a tongue will need your help to live that long life. And so you've got a chameleon with a handicap, and is going to need your help, but he'll figure it out with your help, and he'll do well. Oh. Let me go through the chat before I. Howard's asking, Bill, how are you feeling? Cough, pet gone. Hope so. I am feeling very well. Thank you very much, Howard. Although, no matter what I say, the real test is how I sound in 45 minutes. I have had a cold. I came back from Madagascar with lemur pox, and so I've been hacking. And by the way, everybody, I'm just kidding. It wasn't lemur pox. There's no such thing as lemur pox. I just am trying to make it sound a little bit more exciting than it is. I had a cold. And of course, for a guy who does 2 live sessions a week, having a cold and having a cough is not good for my job. Call it that. And so, yes, I have had to rely on the good nature and understanding of my community and we all got through it, and I think I'm over it. It's like 1 or 2 coughs a day, but we'll see. We'll see how it is after I talk for 45 minutes. That's the test, but I think I'm almost there. All right. Oh, Tony's here. Yeah, everybody. Okay, Tony, who went to Madagascar in January with me. Yes, Tony, we are now working on the 2027 trip to Madagascar. So, Danny Ken Aquatics is in Oregon. All right, so I messed up. I mixed up the screen names. That's okay. This is how life is exciting when you have this kind of stuff. Hey, Yvette's here to listen while fanting around because she's working on her fans. Oh, hello, Ben in New Hampshire. And Wendy's in the UK. Wonderful. I always love my and Robin. Hello, Robin. Robin is officially the first person to sign up for Madagascar 2027. She is in. And hello, Geraldine from the class of 2026. So, Wendy has a question. I have a question. What's the best way to clean the mister and fogger? Please. I clean them out with vinegar, and I may do a thorough cleaning and then thorough drying, and that has worked for me. Now, every area is going to have their own mold, fungus, and stuff floating around, so there may be an issue. But every place has drinking fountains. Every place has drinking tubes, and so every place will have a way to clean things that are meant for drinking. And so if you have, wait a minute. That was not a cough, that was a sneeze. So you just figure out if the I'm sorry, it's going to sneeze again. If the vinegar doesn't work, then you can see how other people in your area deal with drinking stuff. Thank you, Dal Draco. See, I can mute the YouTube, but I can't get to mute the Instagram. I don't even know where to do it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, if I mute the Instagram and hit that, my whole phone is going to go flying. Oh. Everybody, Emomo28 is no longer lurking and has joined the chat. Emomo28, welcome to the chat. Good to have you. So, and everybody who is still lurking, that's fine. You can lurk. You can have fun. We welcome everyone. Janet says, Wendy, I have really hard water. I soak mine overnight in vinegar and a few drops of Dawn and then wash off. Thank you, Janet, for helping us through that. Hello, Emily. Tony says, yeah, James, I'm feeling good except missing Madagascar rainforest. Yeah, there's something, you get to the point where you're saying, okay, it's time to go home, but it isn't long before you go, oh, man, those are some good memories. There were some really cool times in Madagascar. So, me too, Tony. That's why I get Bill my deposit. Possibly. Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, for those of you who are interested, but Tony's asking me. Hey, Bill, feeling better? I am feeling much better. I think I've beaten this cold. Marcia says, oh, no, got the new quote for our new kitchen cabinets. Yeah, that'll do it. Terry says, join the Misty Mountain Fans newsletter today. Oh, yeah, we're going to be talking about that. Yes, as you can hear, Yvette still has a little bit of a cold. Let's see. Question about multiple enclosures in the same room for my 4 cams. Would it be a problem if enclosures were facing each other from across the room about 6 feet apart? Probably not. Even panther chameleons will, at the beginning, they may flash at each other a bit, but very soon they figure out that, okay, that panther chameleon over there is staying on its branch and in its tree and in its territory. I don't have to get all excited about it. So every chameleon is an individual and has their own personality. And there may be some chameleon that is just a real pain in the butt and can't get along with anybody. But most panther chameleons, male panther chameleons, will have no problem settling down and accepting that panther chameleon on the other side of the room is going to be not going to be coming and threatening their territory. And so they will just sit there and they'll look at each other and they'll all get excited when you come into the room because they know it's dinner time. So I think generally speaking, you're fine with that. Did you sell a couple of foot pictures? Are people selling feet pictures to get to Madagascar? You know what? Whatever it takes. You gotta respect the hustle. Yeah. Whatever it takes, everybody. You know what? Feet picture money is as good as any other. So, all right. Let's go ahead and go over some things. First of all, everybody, I just sent out a newsletter. If you are signed up to the Chameleon Academy newsletter and you did not see that newsletter, look in your spam folder, look around in your folders, and find that newsletter and open it and say, okay, I'm here. In a couple of weeks, I am going to be going through the newsletter and I'm going to be looking at, there's just a list of what they call cold subscribers. Those are subscribers who have subscribed and haven't opened in the email in the last 3 months. I'm going to get rid of all of those cold subscribers. Not because I don't like you, but because if you're not going to open the email, then I don't want to be filling up your spam folder unnecessarily. And that's okay. People move on. Your chameleon goes to another place. That was my dog messing up the Instagram camera. I mean, people get out of chameleons and you don't need the Chameleon Academy newsletter anymore. That's fine. But if you're here on this live session, chances are you're part of the community and you want the email. So if you're not seeing the email, go and find it and say, okay, tell your email provider this is okay. Sometimes you just have to reply to the email. Just hit reply to the newsletter. It says, yeah, Bill, thanks for the newsletter. And that will tell your email provider that, okay, it's okay if Bill at chameleonacademy.com sends me stuff. But if you haven't opened an email in the last 3 months, I'm going to unsubscribe you from the list just to keep things. I don't want to. None of us want to spam anyone else. So, and in that newsletter, I started talking about Madagascar and for details about going to Madagascar. And if you're interested in knowing more about going to Madagascar in January 2027, then just reply to that email and say, I want to know more information. I'll send you the details. And this Saturday, I'm going to be having the live session. We're going to be talking about what it's like to go to Madagascar. I know in the past on the different shows, I've said, okay, these are lemurs we see. These are the chameleons we see. How much fun. All right. This weekend on Saturday, we're going to be talking about, these are the kind of hotels that we stay at. This is the kind of food you've got. This is the bathroom situation. This is, we spend a day or two at a time traveling. This is what the hikes look like. So it is meant to be for you to be able to make a decision if you want to go or not. Now, I'm going to be having a guest on, Mr. James Cross, who was in the 2025 group, and he's going to be able to answer any questions from a participant perspective. Don't you dare remove me. Well, okay. James says, don't you dare remove me. Guys, I actually don't go through all the emails to figure out who is or isn't opening the emails. My system does that. and I just say, okay, let's just move all of the cold subscribers to unsubscribe. So that's all I do. So go and look for that. Now, Nate is saying, I have tracking pixels blocked. Can you make sure I don't get removed, please, for the newsletter? Oh, I will check for your email to make sure that you are not included. It can be, yeah, I don't know about that situation and how that affects the situation. I gotta tell you, this whole newsletter thing and the statistics are so unreliable, because there's a number of, so what they do to figure out if you've opened it or not, they say, okay, has the photo that Bill sent been downloaded? If so, okay, the person's opened it. Is one of the links clicked? So they see if there's any activity. But on so many of these emails, Gmail just opens them up to check them to make sure that they're safe, because everybody wants it to be safe. So it's a very inexact science. Marcia says, I couldn't find the new podcast anywhere. Okay, what Marcia is talking about. Let me take a drink for this one. I've been working with my wife, Yvette of Misty Mountain Fans, on the outreach for Europalatus fantasticus satanic leaf-tailed gecko. And to that end, we are releasing a podcast. It's going to be a weekly podcast, audio podcast, a monthly newsletter, and a monthly live session. And all of this happens this weekend. This is the end of the week, so you get a newsletter. It's a Friday, so a podcast is released. And it's the beginning of the month on Sunday, so you get a live session. So yes, on Friday, if you sign up for this newsletter, which means go to mistymountainfans.com. I'm going to put that link here in at least the YouTube chat. I am sorry, but Instagram won't let me put links into the chat on Instagram. And so go to mistymountainfans, PHANTS.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter. Now, once you sign up for the newsletter, everybody, you will get a confirmation email, which means you gotta click it, open it, and then you gotta confirm that you really wanted to be on this list. So we got to make sure that I don't sit there and I just send out to everybody, right? Now, even though the podcast, which is the Branch Demon podcast, very cute, is officially launching on Friday, Apple, I submitted it to Apple, and Apple didn't take its 3 days to list it like it usually does. It just listed it immediately. So right now, the podcast is launched. So if you're here on my live session, you've got this advanced notice that you can go in and listen to the Branch Demon podcast right now. Now, Marcia says she couldn't find the podcast. I know it's on Apple Podcasts. I know it's on Spotify, and it's on like Overcast and any other service that looks to the Apple Podcast for their podcast. Now, I'm going to be, as we go on, I'm going to be checking to make sure it shows up on iHeartRadio, make sure it shows up on Google Podcasts and all these other places. But if take a look, do a search for the Branch Demon podcast, and you'll be able to listen to the first episode. And that's what we're doing. So what I would love, everybody, if you're interested in Fantasticus or just want to hang out on another project where you get a cool podcast and a fun newsletter, join me. The Europalatus Fantasticus community is very small. It's a niche community, niche of a niche of a niche. If you thought chameleons were niche, woo, fans are even more niche. But it's really cool because it's it's a community that is being built up in front of our eyes. And so we're getting in at, I mean, I was part of it 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, and I've watched it slowly grow. We're to an inflection point to where it's about to, it could really explode. And go ahead and join me for it. Let's watch. It's fun to watch community dynamics, and you'll notice, you'll remember, those of you who watch the Chameleon community dynamics, the fan community is following in those footsteps, so you can see how they're you can see the same patterns, and this gives a very interesting insight. So please, everybody, if you're interested, sign up for the newsletter, enjoy the podcast, and join us Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific on the Misty Mountain Fans YouTube channel. And Yvette and I are going to be here. And so everybody loves it when Yvette shows up. So you'll get a whole hour of her and her husband, Arm Candy. Hugo Magana 32 says, my Panther Chameleon is about 5 months old, currently feeding only on crickets. When should I start introducing other bugs, and which is recommended? Start now, and then feed. I mean, just find ones that are the appropriate size, and you can feed anything at 5 months old. Yeah, you at any age, just feed anything. So find things that are. I mean, at 5 months old, they could be small, they could be large, depending upon their genetics. So yeah, Panther at 5 months old can have a wide range, but just find appropriate size foods and try different stuff. You can have crickets be your staple food, but bring in some superworms, bring in some flies, silkworms, hornworms smaller, and just bring in a bunch of different stuff. You can have your crickets be your everyday feeder, and then every other week you bring in something different, and give that guy a little some of his enrichment in his diet. So as for which other bugs are recommended, all of them. Just have fun with it. Just find different things and see what he likes. Now, stay away from mealworms, waxworms, butterworms. These things are they're not dangerous. It's just they don't have a whole lot of nutritional value, and so you don't want to get them. Like waxworms are just like candy to chameleons. They love them, but not good stuff for them. But hey, everybody, there's Parsons chameleon up there. You see him in the background? That's a yellow lip Parsons. Heard that James Cross guy is pretty cool. Well then, I think that James Cross guy is going to Madagascar in 2027. So if anybody wants to check to see how cool he really is, come to Madagascar. Eddie Minowian is saying, I see multiple T5s on one cage. I just have one Arcadia Forest Pro T5 set up with Jungle Dawns on your large atrium cage. What do you think? It's the 54 watt T5. Eddie, the more light, the better. These up here, I mean, yeah, the more light, the better. And obviously there is a point where you have too much light, but it's very difficult for us in the community with the equipment that we have to get that. Yeah, obviously, if you went to get one of those Home Depot metal halide lights that are meant for lighting a warehouse, yeah, okay, you're going to fry your entire cage. But if we're talking about T5s, I just put as many up as possible there. Right here, this is actually a temporary thing. This is a 6 bulb T5 fixture. This is old. You can't find T5s very easily. So I generally get the the Pro T5 is the UVB, but then I get the Arcadia Jungle Dawn LED bars. Those LED bars are great, and I do multiples. I do not just get one on a large atrium. I could easily have 4 of these LED bars. I like a lot of light because I found out when you have all of that light, you get the humidity and misting and foggy and stuff like that. Your plants go crazy. You get an incredible environment, and that's good for the chameleon. So, if you got any other questions on that, let me know. All right. James can explain the feeling of falling off a cliff. No, I don't even know if he actually hit the ground before the guy flew down and picked him up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. The Branch Demon Podcast. In 2026, you Pinky promised to have slides under the microscope so we can look for parasites. I don't remember that promise. Oh, that may have been trying to get it so you could look through the microscope. I already did that. We already did that. I already did that where I had some live looking through the microscope. The problem with doing that is you never know if you're going to find something. I remember doing that with you guys in one of these live sessions, and we didn't find anything. It was like, when I show you videos and pictures, I'm showing you stuff that I have found. But like today, I just did a complete fecal on this guy right here. I was looking and there was nothing. There was nothing. It was like, what the heck? You're wild caught. Where's all the coccidia and stuff? Sometimes I don't got them. Yeah. Bill, do you have any advice on how to get a male or female panther chameleon who is not interested in breeding to get them breeding? You have great breeders, but one that is not interested at all. Yeah. Now we're starting to get into chameleon psychology. And it all depends on why, of course, they're not interested in breeding. Sometimes they're all messed up because of the environment. They're not getting the right cues. What does that mean? I don't know. Like I had a pair of first fur minor that just had no interest in breeding. But the second I brought them outside into the natural sunlight, boom, they bred. So maybe there's some colors that are not faithfully reproduced in our captive lighting, or like artificial lighting. It could be how they feel. Maybe they're feeling submissive. Maybe some other male is intimidating them. I had a Jackson's chameleon that I had to give confidence lessons to, and I did that with a mirror to where he went from running away from the female to now he ran after the female. And then I got his confidence back by using a mirror. So, I talked about, if anybody wants to know how I got a chameleon to be confident using a mirror, let me know. I'll tell you the story. But you could, if you can get this male to flare at a mirror or another male, that may kickstart the juices and get them in the mood. But yeah, you just got to try a bunch of different stuff like that to get them interested. There's no formula that works for every single one. Any suggestions on how to prevent gnats? I just ordered a mosquito dunks and I took out some soil from the top and put in sand and river. Also got rid of the coccidia since last. Okay, well, congratulations on the coccidia. As for the gnats, yeah, I have always used a carnivorous plant, a butterwort. Everybody has the different formula. Mine is to use a butterwort carnivorous plant. It's not going to harm the chameleon, and it just eats gnats. Like it just gorges on gnats. It's got sticky leaves. I love it. See, Giovanni says, been following you for years. Thank you. And finally have a courage to adopt a pair of veiled. And this morning, I got 35 beautiful eggs. Congratulations. 35 veiled chameleons. You are in for an adventure, my friend. Veiled chameleons are not shy. Veiled chameleons are not coy. Veiled chameleons are there in your face, and those 35 are going to eat you out of house and home. They are going to grow at an astronomical rate. And so you, my friend, are in for an adventure. The one thing I can say for you right now is plan to raise them separately. I know 35 cages, that's a lot. Yeah. But if you put them together, they will bully each other, and that's not going to be fun.
Can I shut the door a little bit so you don't hear me coughing all the time?
Yeah.
Just a little bit. So.
Okay. What's your all advice on how to make moves less stressful? Okay. The way I make moves I had to do a complete move from Northern California down to Southern California. What I did is if possible, you set up a cage at wherever you're going. And then if you're driving, drive at night. I made all-night trips, 5 all-night trips. I'm still scarred. And I put the chameleon in at in the evening, in the back of the truck after the sun went down. So there's no sun. Chameleon goes into the back of the truck. And then I drive through the night. In the morning, the chameleon goes into their new cage, or the cage comes off the truck and goes to its new place. And so the chameleon moves at night. That's what I do. The biggest problem with chameleons being moved or transported is the heat. And all it takes is for the car to turn the right way, for the sun to come into the window, and it can do the greenhouse thing on your chameleon, and that is a very dangerous thing. So obviously, it depends on what you mean as far as moving. If moving is from one street down to the next, from city to city, state to state, if you're going cross country, literally there were times where there was one point where I was going overseas. And so I went overseas. I prepared the cages, and then I had a friend pack them up and ship them. And yes, I got CITES paperwork to ship them. And they came out even the babies, freshly hatched babies, came out perfectly. If it's done right, shipping's not a problem. So it all depends on how far you're going. Prefer Pocket Cast. Marcia, Pocket Cast. I wonder, it should show up on Pocket Cast as well. Okay. Well, I will take a look at Branch Demon Podcast should be on Pocket Cast. So I'm going to take a look at that. Yeah. Use Overcast. Yes, I do know that Overcast. It is on Overcast. And see, this happens when you start. Sometimes it takes a little while for all the podcast providers to hook into the RSS feed. It's a new RSS feed. So let's see. What size cage is behind you with the Parsons? This is a Dragon Strand large hybrid atrium, and it is about 4 foot by 2 foot by 4 foot. All right. Does Yvette talk? Haven't listened. No, not on this episode. These podcasts are my podcast. And once you start listening to them, you're going, yeah, okay, this sounds like Bill. This is a Bill thing. I talk about breeder care, keeper care, and how it all applies to the fan community and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very Bill. Very much a Bill podcast. You'll recognize the style. But on, I think, episode 2, Yvette does come on, so she will be doing cameo appearances on the podcast and video. The thing is, Yvette is working on getting more and more comfortable on the camera and on microphone. So you will be. It's going to be a lot of me at the beginning, but she will slowly become more and more involved in these outreaches. 'Twas Bill talking on this episode. Yes. All right. Liza Ann says, I'd love a Fant one day. They are so cool. But until then, hang out, listen to the podcast, come to the live sessions, just have a fun old time. And by the time you're ready for a Fant, you will be really ready for the Fant, because I approach Fant husbandry like I approach Chameleon husbandry, with the same philosophy and intensity. I've already got 32 episodes planned out. So much more. So much to talk about. Fear not, reptiles. Something I'm wondering is, what countries are species like Trioceras ellioti and Kinyongia pome coming out of? Because from what I understand, Tanzania and Kenya has stopped exporting reptiles. Fear not, reptiles. Tanzania has stopped, but those species come from Kenya, and Kenya allows out 4 species: Jacksonii, Honelli, Ellioti, and Kinyongia bomi. Those are the only 4 species that are coming out of Kenya. And so those are legally exported, and they come from Kenya. Alicia says, speaking of hornworms, I had 1 cocoon hatch. What do you suggest I do with it? Well, you mean hatched into a moth? Keep it as a pet. You need a pet moth. That's what you need. Oh, pet moth. Hello, Richard. Welcome. Yeah. Marcia says, I've met James Cross and can confirm he is a really cool guy. I don't know, everybody. Anybody here, has anybody else met James Cross? Can you back up what Marcia is saying? Who here has met James Cross? We need to take a vote. Who thinks he's a really cool guy? And did James just pay Marcia for this? We need to get to the bottom. Oh, Eliza Ann's coming in. Oh, yes, James is the best. That's right. Eliza Ann did meet James. So, all right, 2 points. 2 points for James. All right. Uh-oh. James, I'm going to be there. I think I may have to put money. Okay, so now people are placing bets on who's gonna win, James or the lemur. For those of you wondering what's going on, there is a lemur in Madagascar that stole James's coffee and sugar. This is a well-known criminal at the Palmarium, and James did not know this, but later on we learned that there is a culprit. There is a main character, and so I guess now we're placing bets as to on the rematch. This is going to be an epic trip, I can tell you that. Oh, hello, Roxanne. Oh my gosh, you are so behind in chat. What time is it? Oh my goodness, I am so behind in chat. Okay, I am going to try to catch up. Sorry, everybody. Oh, any advice on cryptosporidium treatment? Richard, do you have cryptosporidium in your collection? There is a cryptosporidium. The only thing that can kill cryptosporidium is the immune system. That is, I mean, honestly, none of our medications work on cryptosporidium. So you want to hear the story. We got, okay, that's probably the Jackson story. All right, let me get to the bottom of the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. And then I will tell you the Jackson story. What's the name of it? I'm going to have to work on naming this guy. Yeah. Okay, I'm working. I'm sorry, guys, if I have missed your comments. I am so far behind in the comments. All right, good. I'm catching up. It's just such a bunch of people saying James is an okay guy. What the heck? All right. Tony, James will be prepared for this rematch this time. I don't. We have medications, but none of them are really like 100%. Yeah. All right. You want the Jackson's Chameleon story? I sure. So I had a male Jackson's Chameleon that was smaller than the female. Female would bully him. Female was, and yes, this was before. This is back when a long time ago when I did some cohabitation. I'm embarrassed to say that, but then again, there's a reason why I know so much. Is because I've done stupid stuff. All right, so smaller male, kept it in with a larger female, same enclosure, and when you do that, the larger one continues to dominate the smaller one until the smaller one leaves the territory. Well, if they're in a cage, then there's no way for the smaller one to leave the territory, so the smaller one is constantly being given the business, and we don't necessarily see this. It's invisible, but you'll notice, something to check. Oh, Bill, you're crazy. All right, do you notice that the larger one keeps perching higher than the smaller one? You notice that the larger one eats before the smaller one, and sometimes, if you watch carefully, the larger one, or the one that's dominant, actually targets the thing that the smaller one is trying to eat. Yeah. So there's no overt fighting, but you know that there's a huge bullying going on there. All right. Young Bill did not realize this. So this is part of me figuring life out. So what I did is I separated them, and I'd put them together, and the male would run away from the female. No confidence in this boy because, well, yeah, the female just kind of beat it out of him. So I separated them first thing. And then I would take my male out for confidence lessons. And so what I would do is put the male on a branch, and then I would bring a mirror to the male, and the male would see its reflection. Now, the first thing that the male wanted to do, because he was so scared, is turn around and leave. Okay. But before he could do that, I made the intruder leave. Took the mirror back. And so in his mind, he says, wait a minute, there's an intruder, but now the intruder is running away from me. So I kept doing this, and I would bring the intruder, and and then put him back. The next day I come out, the intruder comes back, and he stays a little bit longer. But as soon as he's ready to go back, the intruder runs away. Okay. And I keep doing this, and every time I do this, over the days, this takes a lot of time. It's not just one day. Over the time, he stayed longer and longer, to the point where he actually, when I brought the mirror, the intruder, he actually went after the intruder, and he had enough confidence that he wanted to beat this guy's butt and get him off his branch. Once I got my little male to that point, to where now he was aggressively defending his branch, I brought the female up, and that male went after the female, and I got a successful mating. So this is, chameleons have brains, and they have personalities, and you can train them. So that's how I got. That's how I gave confidence back to my little male Jacksons. Oh, Wendy's got another question. I have another question, please. Is it safe to use Verm times the probiotic for reptiles for my panther to boost it? I don't know. I've never used probiotics. I've never done that to boost gut health. The problem, Wendy, is how do you measure that? For me to say, for all of this gut health stuff, there's a lot. I've heard this before. People have talked about it, and we in the community have had many discussions about gut health and that kind of stuff. The thing is, there's no way. I mean, the question is, how do you test it? How do you know if it's actually done some good? And until we have a way to test that it's doing some good, there's just opinions, and it's just people deciding what is true and then just fighting over it because that's what we do on the internet. So I've never. The thing is, I've never had it solve a I've never tried it, but I've never heard about it solving a problem in a way that was truly measurable. So the answer is I don't know. There may be some benefits for it, but the answer is I don't know at this point. And so let's see. Emily says, Bill, definitely don't be embarrassed. Thanks to everything you have done, we know so much now. Yes, and doing all the stupid stuff that I did so long ago, it feels better knowing that other people are not doing that stupid stuff because I did it, and I am telling you all about it and saying, don't cohabitate chameleons. Oh, don't cohabitate chameleons. What a great story! Yeah, it was so heartwarming. I loved it when my little boy is now got his confidence back. Boy, it just felt so good. It's so good. It looks like I will have to tell the story. Yes, we need story time. Maybe your chameleon just needs story time about the little Cam that could. I think I can. And he got his confidence back. And then he got his confidence back, and you can too. I love it. Oh, yeah. My husband said we can just hire 2 guys in a truck to move our reptilian army. That's I honestly, when I did my move, I had to move from the San Francisco area down to the Los Angeles area. That's quite a drive. And so I got a big U-Haul truck, and many of my cages are on wheels. Specifically did this because when I was in the Bay Area, I had to move every year because you rent a house and then they up the rent $1,000. You're what? And or they decide, okay, now I'm going to sell the house. It seemed every year we had to move, and so literally our entire life was on those baker's racks. We would have everything in plastic bins on baker's racks. That's our entire house, and all of my cages were on casters. And so when we did the Chameleon move night, pulled a U-Haul at the into the driveway at 6-7 p.m. when the sun was going down, and then just wheeled all of the chameleons onto the truck and did an all-night drive. Yeah, that's the way of it. Bill, what's that saying? Learn, understand, pass it on. Yes. And sometimes learning is always an adventure. Yeah. Bill, I am still bioactive, so I have no idea how I'm going to. Oh, yeah, that's an issue. That is an issue. Whenever you start feeling anything with soil, it doesn't move very easily. And this is the funny story because, me and James, we got together and we're building up Crosscuts. That's James's company with these stands. And we agreed early on, every single one of these products is going to have a caster's option. Casters aren't cheap, and so we made it an option. But here's the inside knowledge. Get casters on everything, no matter what. Get casters. Those are wheels. The difference between a wheel and a caster is a wheel goes one way, a caster spins, and so it can go a number of ways. All of my cages are on casters. That's something that I have learned in life, and I will pass that on to you happily. Put all of your cages on these baker racks. If you get any of these bioactive stands from Crosscuts, get the casters option. You will not regret it, especially when that cricket behind your cage starts chirping at 2 a.m. You want to be able to move that cage. Yep. Casters on mine, excellent idea. James Goss, we are planning, since we're possibly taking Rosie, it requires extra planning. Okay, wait a minute. All right, see, that cough wasn't that bad. I talked to Patrick. He's our tour guide. I said, hey, how do you feel about kids? We got a 6-year-old. I mean, she's kind of fit, but are you okay with that? And he said, yeah, kids. I have kids all the time. They do better than the adults. I'm going, okay. All right, fine. So, yeah, he's confident. He's confident. Of course, every parent knows their kids. Are they going to be okay hiking? Are they going to be okay sitting in a car for a day drive? They are going to be okay, going to the bathroom in the woods when we take a break. And, some kids are very, they enjoy the luxury of the city, and some kids are up for adventure. Madagascar is a decent amount of adventure. So, everybody knows their kids. Me as a kid, I would have loved it. So, yeah, James, but that would be wonderful. I'm great with kids and I bring candy. Yeah, well, we were kind of all kids in the truck at that. You bring out those red vine licorices and we're all kids. We all sign up to be kids. My dairy cows, those are isopods, have built a damned country instead of a colony. I don't want to move. I know. Once you get an established colony, especially of dairy cows, oh, yeah, you don't want to mess that up. So good luck. Good luck with that. Little cricket casters. Oh, yeah. Oh, I tell you, I've got my huge cabinet cages. They're on caster. I put them on furniture caster, like those furniture movers. I put those on the bottom of all of my big cages. She says, I didn't know you did bioactive setups, Jay. Yes, well, actually, Roxanne, that is relatively new. We started about a year ago. So this has been new. This has been new. Are we there yet? Yeah. Yeah, it gets, and everybody, if you're coming, just know that we're going to be in tight quarters to get to Rana-Mafana, we have to drive 2 days to get to Rana-Mafana. So we do stop at places, but the first 2 days are a little bit our travel. And then we hang out at Rana-Mafana for a while. And there's quite the nice lodge down there that we enjoy. But then there's 2 days travel back up to the Andasi Bay area. And that lodge is, oh my goodness. That we keep saying that Geraldine got sick and she got sick at the right lodge. I want to get sick in Andasi Bay. So I just hang out at that lodge and just sit out there because you get to, the lodges just open up the balcony, the patio balcony just shows the rainforest and like lemurs are bounding through the trees. It's not good to get sick. We hope not to get sick. But if you do get sick, because I mean, everybody, get ready. the different microbes over there and different things. And every time I go, I have one day where I don't feel so great. Like this day, I spent 24 hours eating just French fries. Yeah, but it was okay. Geraldine had to miss a hike and stuff. Now, I will tell everybody, I am not your parent. I will not tell you what you should or shouldn't do. I will say, do not eat fruit from the street vendors. Okay? We had somebody in 2025 who did that and spent 48 hours detoxing her entire body. And yeah, please don't do that. She's okay, by the way, and had a story to tell. Yeah, but everybody, watch out. So, Robert says, I have to go, but it's good to finally say hi. Hello, Robert, and good night, Robert. I'm bringing my antibiotics. Yes, bring antibiotics, anti-diarrhea. One thing I've always really appreciated the anti-diarrhea, and I take the anti-malarial. Nobody has our tour guide Patrick has said nobody that he knows of has ever gotten malaria, but malaria is in the area. So I will say, please take a malaria medicine, and I will leave it to you as adults to decide how you want to deal with that. James says, I survived on zebu and rice and didn't get sick the whole trip. Yes, zebu is the beef and rice. And the reason why that's smart is because if you eat things that are too hot to touch, once they're done and ready to go to you, that's the safest thing. Because their hygiene isn't exactly, they're not as careful because everybody there is used to the same microbes. Now, there are water filters. They have water filters there. So, I'm getting to the end of my voice. Ooh, we're coming to the end. Oh, it's at 6:00. Woo! So there are water filters. So the restaurants have these. They're very common. So they try to be, but we got to be we got to be smart. And the smartest thing to do is eat things that are too hot to touch once they're done, like coffee and zebu and French fries. Bill, what if we are the type of adult that needs someone that's more adult than we are in hopes to keep the shenanigans to a mild roar? Lisa, I try very hard to be that adult, but I do so only because I'm required to be, because everybody expects me to be the adult. But if you see me on the Reptile Show Reporter, any chance I get to not be the adult, I take it. But on this trip, I'm kind of duty bound to be an adult, so I'm the designated adult. Ugh. Tony says, yeah, I also ate zebu every day. Zebu's pretty good. I love it. Geraldine says, still not sure why I got sick. And you'll never know. Like I got sick a little bit after you did. Not bad enough. I mean, it was on a travel day, so it wasn't as bad. But I spent 24 hours and I'd only eat French fries, so it just happens. Careful of that hose. Yeah, James, we're going to have you tell your bidet story. James battled a number of things in Madagascar. That boy lived the adventure. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's going to be harder and harder because the people going are just going to encourage James. And from what I know about James, all it takes is a little encouragement and he's way out of hand. So, and he's got a bunch of people going that are going to encourage his shenanigans. So, guys, I have no idea how this trip is going to go. So, what about the World Cola? Yes, we've got World Cola there, but Coca-Cola has made inroads. Oh, yeah, the Cola Wars of Madagascar. We should talk about that on Saturday. So, did Coke make it? Yes, Coke has made a return. Yes, I'm going over. So I'm gonna save the stories for Saturday. But the Coke versus World Cola, epic. It's going to be the best. A trip to remember. I think so. So everybody, it's coming to the end here. Has anyone ever been arrested at? They're probably not going to check when you get into Madagascar. So, and once you're on your way back home, you're on your own. Once you leave Madagascar. So, yeah. Once again, James comes through with an answer to that question. Tell you. So, everybody, the action items here are sign up for the Misty Mountain Fans, the newsletter, and come to the live session and enjoy the podcast. Even if you never get a Europlatus Fantasticus, Europlatus Fantasticus live in the same area as chameleons. Ranamafana, Marimizaha, and we see the chameleons, we see the fans. So and they are arboreal as well. So there's a lot of overlap. And by looking at the world through the perspective of another creature, there's a lot of differences between chameleons, and there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences. And so you get to see variations in how we do, especially like UVB. That's a big thing with fans. You gotta be smart about it. And it's not as easy as it is with chameleons, because chameleons are awake when you have UVB. So anyway, I got to have a whole episode on that. But and nothing else. It's fun. Let's hang out. You don't ever have to get a fan. Just hang out. Let's have fun. So this says get the oh yes Madagascar. Get the deposit in. Get your place reserved. And we'll get this show on the road. So long as McZoo is, I don't know. I think he's okay, but we'll see. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me here. We had a great night, and I will see you later.